Jeremy, welcome. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Cannot complain. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Doing the Whirlwind tour right now with the new album ready to drop. And probably, I would guess in a million years, you would never have imagined how things have gone with this release because it's kind of like backwards because the singles have been coming, but yet the artwork and everything wasn't quite ready. And it's the last year of literally almost a year of chaos.
Yeah. We finished the music for it on the Degenerates tour. Well, I can't even say the own title of our song. The Degenerates tour with Beartooth and I Prevail. We finished the music on that. And then since then, it really has been trying to get the mixing, mastering, and the artwork done. And what we didn't anticipate was how much of a difference it was going to be in completion times of instead of walking into a room and, telling someone what's wrong with a mix or like what you want to hear in a mix, having to explain every single thing through email and have 5 different people's opinions on it, plus anyone outside of the band that has an opinion on it. There was just no preparing us for how long of a process that was going to be because we couldn't just get in the room and get it done. And the same thing happened with our artwork. It was just really tough to not be able to just hash it out with someone and figure it out. It was
like image to image to image, and everybody had an input on it. And just when you think you got it finished, and someone else comes along and goes, "No, wait a minute, can we move this over here just a little bit?" Or
exactly. Anyone who's had like a corporate job where you're working as a group can completely understand, or just doing a creative kind of thing in general, or even just having like a group project or something in school. You know what that would be like if you can't get in a room with them and you got to do it all through email. Everything's up to interpretation, and what you're saying is being implemented in a way that's totally different from what you picture because they have no way of referencing what you picture. So it was a challenge, to say the least. But here we are. Honestly, I'm not going to believe that the album is truly out until it is on my phone.
So Friday hits and it's here. Oh, man. Well, and how did you guys do Zoom calls like this at all? Or was it all email forever until everybody finally realized maybe Zoom's the way to do it? I mean, when you were recording, were you guys together at all? I mean, I know you talked about the album back in 2019 on tour. I remember that. I remember late that summer. I think it was August. But how much of it did you have done at that point, and how much did you have to do in this past year of like quarantine and everything else?
So the album was totally done, other than there were 2 bridges that I wanted to tweak that I didn't feel were quite right. And then our producer came out on that Degenerates tour that I mentioned. He flew out and worked with us on the go, for a week. Finalized the tracks. That was it for actually recording music. So whenever that tour was the end of us tracking You're Welcome, which was, I'm pretty sure, already past the point that it was originally supposed to come out. And then once that was done, we already had like the songs that were finished being worked on mix and mastering wise. But after that tour, the last 4 days was the House of Blues shows. And that was the last shows that we played. That was right after that is when this all hit, and all of it came to a screeching halt and had to be done over email. Wow. We did have a few Zoom calls about stuff, but the vast majority of it was done over email, and it took forever.
Long awaited is I mean, that's like the understatement of the year for this album, because until I started really digging back, thinking about it, going, I remember it was 2019 because the last year is such a blur and it all, but the texture of this album, what's ironic to me is when you listen to it song by song, it almost feels like everything we went through for the last year in a song by song nature, the ups and the downs and the roller coasters and everything else before any of this even happened. That's what's really weird about it. That's why it felt to me like it was done throughout the whole thing. Like every song had a piece of what you were going through in the last year. So that's how it feels to me.
Man, that just gave me goosebumps just to hear that's how you viewed the album, man. That's
Yeah.
so cool to hear. Cause like, yeah, there are those bits that are very much rooted in life before. And then you've got tracks like Looks Like Hell that really does make sense for like the only way out is through ourselves. You know what I mean? And it looks like hell. It's not going to be easy, but we're going to get through it. You know what I mean? So, man, that's it. I love that take. Wow.
Well, and you know, and here we are. So Everything We Need. I think this is the 5th single now, isn't it? Would this be the 5th release? Technically, I think.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, that's kind of like it to me. It's like, okay, there's the bookend because Everything We Need was around us. We just had to reimagine the way that we used it and how we associate with one another. And we talk about all these bubbles, and now we're coming out of it. And everybody's, you know, over the last few days, we've gotten so many good things coming with the vaccines and moving up timelines, and everybody's talking concerts now and how we get back to normal. And I mean, I know for you, let alone just having this business side to it with family and everything else. I mean, are you in Florida now? Are you home?
I am. I'm home. And actually, dude, that's been an even crazier thing for me. Like, me and my family, like, had just bought a new house that we needed to renovate. And I'm not kidding. I'm like working with my financial advisor. Like, I was going over it for like half a year. I was like, are you sure? Is this the right time to do this? Are you sure? And like, I was going over those worst case scenarios with him. It's like, yeah, but like if the world ended tomorrow, like, what are we going to do? I want to know the plan. And we bought the place. No kidding you. A week later, all this.
Wow.
Fortunately, we found a way through it. And so a lot of people had a much different experience. So I'm very thankful and appreciative of my situation. But man, just like, it really did hit us like out of nowhere. Yeah. So it has been a wild year, to say the least.
Have you been doing a lot of home projects and things like that, making some changes and some upgrades and stuff like that?
Oh, dude, it's like a total reno job, like gut job.
I never realized how handy I could be. I'm like, I've never watched so many do-it-yourself YouTube videos to fix simple things around the house in all my life. I'm like, all right, I got a fallback gig now. Yeah, I could be a handyman.
Exactly. And I've got the time to do it. Let's go.
You know, it's just one thing about you guys. I mean, this is your 7th album, but it feels like you've done, because you've worked with so many people. I mean, you've worked with Marshmello, and to me, you guys are never afraid to try a little something different, to bring a little something different to the table. And your fans are always so accepting. And that's hard for a band to really do. The backlash in the world today.
It is hard. And because of that, every time we put out an album and have put out an album, there is always a little bit of pushback at the beginning of every record, because we very much have fans that just listen to us for metal music. And then we have fans that just listen to us for pop punk music. And then we have people who love like the acoustic stuff we do. So it really is an eclectic group of people. We're one of the only bands, I think, that can go on tour with bands that are like death metal bands and be direct support to Slipknot, and then go on tour and be direct for Blink-182.
Right.
Like, I don't know another band that can do that, but the reason we can is because of all the different pulls from the different genres. So we're in the very unique situation where no matter what we put out, we're making someone mad.
Yeah, right. Yeah, true.
We are. Because it's like, oh man, I want you to play an acoustic song. Or like, no, I want you to play the metal song. You know,
get them all in a room together and just watch them fight it out and go, okay, we'll figure this out in a minute. You know, I will say
it's that.
I was going to ask you the one thing that you learned about yourself and what you do out of this last year that you never knew could be better. And I got to be honest with you, one of the things I've learned about this job that I really appreciate now is getting to do these types of interviews versus the old days of doing phone and everything. It's so much more fun for you to be where you are in your natural habitat, for me to be at home from the home studio. It feels like such a better connection where we can connect a little bit more, even though we're not really together. It's been enlightening on how better we can do some things whenever we can't be together, but we can still connect. And it feels to me just as good as it did before, maybe even a little bit better. What's something you found out about yourself?
Something I found out about myself.
Other than being an incredible handyman now, obviously, with everything going on the home projects, right?
That's definitely not the case.
I can plumb a toilet, man. I can do it.
Yeah, I know where the shutoff valve is for the water now.
And that's the hardest part sometimes. You have to dig up the front yard.
Yeah, exactly. Something I learned about myself. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know about learning about myself, but I definitely appreciate things a lot more than I did, because we've been a
Yes.
band. We've been a band a long time. It's been like 15 years now, however long 2003 is.
I was going to say
You
it's
know,
almost 20 years for you guys. It's
it's
2021. 2 more years and you're there.
that is
Yeah.
so wild to think about. Like, we've been a band a long time. You know, we've been on this crazy rocket ship ride slowly over the course of time. You know, so it's like it's very easy to get set in your ways and feel like you're tired of being on the road or playing shows all the time. But then it's like, what a reset this has been, and a perspective change to really show you like how precious those moments are, and special they are. Like I needed that reset in my life right now. I needed the time home with my family. Like I was going to be gone for at least half of this last year that just happened. And the positive side of COVID was I got to spend the whole year with my family. My
Yep.
daughter just turned 3 in December. So it's like, you can't get that time back. You know
Nope.
what I mean?
Nope.
So for me, it was more just appreciating very much so what I'm talking about and everything we need. Like,
That's great.
it may not always work out the way you intended it, but that doesn't mean if you really dissect it, at least for me personally, everything get in tomorrow. And I really do have all the things in life that are going to get me out of bed in the morning. You know what I mean? Like,
That's great, man.
I've got an audience that appreciates what I write, no matter how big or small it is, whatever happens in the future. And I've got a wife and kid at home who love me, who think I'm a superhero. So it's like,
That's awesome.
what really more
Yeah. I mean,
do you need in
that's
life?
the thing. That's my wife and I talked about it like a couple of weeks ago. She goes, we actually still really enjoy each other's company. Look at how much time we spent
Hey.
for the last year, because we were always both so busy. And I'm like, yes,
There you go.
we still have things in common. We still want to do this. Is great. So
Just
yeah,
making it through it together. It's like, if you can make it through COVID, you guys are going to make it through anything.
Everything's going to be great, man. It's going to be fantastic. Jeremy, can't thank you enough for your time today. I know you're busy. Looking forward to it. Remember, if you want to connect on all social media, ADTR. Obviously, the pre-order has been going on, but the album drops Friday. This is a big one. Congratulations. Welcome back. And hopefully we'll see you back here in Tampa soon, my man.
Thank you. I cannot wait for that day.